Washington, lots of people are back there as well, the president and Congress, and there are big stories there this morning. President Trump is facing questions about his first summit with Vladimir Putin, even Republicans complaining he may not have been tough enough with the Russian president. And the White House dealing with that revelation that Donald Trump Jr. met with a Russian linked to the Kremlin during the campaign, who was promising him damaging information on Hillary Clinton, Jared Kushner, Paul Manafort at that meeting as well. And after the July 4th holiday, Senate focusing again on that health care bill to replace the Affordable Care Act as more Republicans cast doubts on it.
We will have much more on all that in just a moment. But first, our chief White House correspondent, John Karl, starts us off with new questions about President Trump's meeting with Vladimir Putin. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Robin. The president is back in the White House after his second trip abroad, his first face-to-face meeting with Vladimir Putin, a meeting that is raising more questions than answers.
Back at the White House, there's one question President Trump can't seem to shake.
Mr. President, are you satisfied with Putin's answers on election meddling?
The president did raise the issue with Putin, but he says he wants to move on. Tweeting Sunday, I strongly pressed President Putin twice about Russian meddling in our election. He vehemently denied it. I've already given my opinion. So what exactly did President Trump tell Putin about election meddling? His top advisors won't say.
Why would President Trump broadcast exactly what he said in the meeting? Strategically, that makes no sense.
Putin, who unlike Trump held a press conference after the meeting, says President Trump accepted his denial that Russia didn't do anything to interfere with the election. No White House official denied that until this just yesterday from Chief of Staff Reince Priebus, who wasn't at the meeting.
The president absolutely did not believe the denial of President Putin.
The president insists he's acting to prevent future election hacks, tweeting that he discussed with Putin, quote, forming an impenetrable cybersecurity unit with the Russians. Prominent Republicans think that's a terrible idea.
It's not the dumbest idea I've ever heard, but it's pretty close. When it comes to Russia, he's got a blind spot.
There's been no penalty whatsoever. Time to move forward. Yes, it's time to move forward, but there has to be a price to pay.
Republican Senator Marco Rubio is also slamming that idea of a joint Russian-American task force on cybersecurity, saying partnering with Putin on a cybersecurity unit is akin to partnering with Assad on a chemical weapons unit. But it now appears that President Trump is backing away from the idea he tweeted late yesterday. The fact that President Putin and I discussed a cybersecurity unit doesn't mean I think it can happen. It can't. Robin?
And John, in that conversation between the president and Putin, he seemed to point to an apparent victory in Syria over the ceasefire.
Yeah, and this does appear to be an accomplishment, a ceasefire for part of southern Syria that was negotiated in part with the Jordanians as well. That ceasefire, Robin, started to take effect yesterday.